part of our well-being week, of course, we had our study skills seminar this morning, coping and resilience around exams and stress and anxiety. So thank you so much for your prompt attention this morning, very well received. And the trainer said it probably was the largest group he's ever had to work with, but definitely the easiest group he's ever had to work with. So that's great to hear. That was testament to your cooperation, your patience, your understanding, and your listening skills. So what our management is asking is a very special presentation to secretaries. Okay? Sherrie Gearheart from Live Out Loud Charity, an American-based charity organisation which has a global influence and reach. So Sherrie is in Ireland on a visit for a week, going around the country, and we're very lucky to have her here today. She has the tiara and crown, and she's explained that to you too over the course of the next hour or so. So we're going to have a presentation from Sherrie and from Emma, and we'll cover Emma in a second in the next while. And after that, we'll have to stay in the hall. Mr. Winders and Mr. Lyle will organise some evaluation sheets for today's activity. Is that okay? So what we're going to do is just listen and learn and take on board something for the next hour or so. I want to especially mention Emma. Emma Gavin is a fifth-year student in the school, and she also has a tiara, crown, and in relation to she's Miss Teen Worldwide. Is that correct? Miss Worldwide. Okay. In terms of she's global ambassador, Irish ambassador for global artists in Ireland. And they're talking in detail about, I suppose on the screen here, it's suicide awareness, prevention, and through what's called core character development. So the main focus of today will be a development of what we did this morning about character development, coping, resilience, and dealing with the challenges that life will inevitably put in front of you as you progress to the next division. Is that okay? So I'll pass over to Emma, who's going to start us off. So Emma's going to start off and maybe talk a few moments, and then she'll pass over to Sherrie, and then we'll take it from there. Is that okay? Right. Okay, Emma, you're very welcome.
Hi everybody, my name is Emma Gavin and I'm 16 years old. So some of you may see me around school, and some of you may know that I do charity work, and this is with Live Out Loud Charity. It's an organisation, and we deal with people who have depression, have suicidal thoughts, and we also teach core character development, and we support anti-bullying. So I'm here because I'm Miss Ultimate Worldwide Teen in Ireland, and this title means I can spread the awareness of depression, suicide, and anti-bullying. So I know you're in second year, and it's a bit of a stressful year. I mean, this is the year where you find, most of your friends, your true friends, and it's also where you actually have most of your coursework done for exams. So when I know what the second year feels like because, I went through it because I'm fifth year. So I just want you to know that there is actually light at the end of the tunnel, and when you sit those exams in summer, like your end of year exams, you'll feel best, especially after the very last one, because you know that you've gotten through second year. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story. So in primary school, I had a bit of a tough time. I won't get too much into it though. My self-confidence was extremely low, and I had extremely low self-esteem. One day my friend kind of noticed that I was really shy. So she asked me to do a pageant, and of course my initial reaction was like, no way, because honestly all I could think of was, toddlers and tiaras and the fake side of things and the fake tan and the eyelashes, and I'm kind of against that, because I more like natural beauty. So I went in thinking, this is going to be good, and I'm not going to enjoy myself. So I went in, but it was completely different. I mean, it was more interview based, there was judges throughout the day, you didn't know who the judges were, so you had to be nice to everybody. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. But I ended up winning. I ended up winning, and I was pretty shocked because I didn't think I would ever, I'd ever win, especially because my self-esteem was so low. So as part of winning, the pageant director actually was in touch with Sherrie Gearheart and received recognitions. And as part of winning, I get to go over to Chicago, and I modeled for the first time in Sherrie's show. Her shows actually highlight, when you think of a model, you think of someone really tall, really pretty, and skinny. But in Sherrie's show, it doesn't matter what nationality you are, what height you are, what size you are. She highlights that everybody is beautiful. So 2 years later, I went back to Chicago, and I was crowned Miss Worldwide Teen Ireland. And throughout that year, I did radio interviews on RTE, I did newspaper interviews, And then during the year, when I went back to Chicago, because I was in TY, so it wasn't, I had more time on my hands, I went back to Chicago and I did radio interviews and I was on TV. So the last time I went to Chicago was about a month ago, and I was crowned Miss Ultimate Worldwide Teen Ireland. So many of you think that, when you see a crown and sash, everyone's probably like, why should you wear a crown and sash? Like, what does this actually have to do with such a topic? Well, this crown and sash actually gives me a voice. It gives me a voice to speak out to people in need and help them. So how I speak out to people in need, I became certified in QPR. QPR has 3 proven steps to save a life. So 1 is question, 2 is persuade, and 3 is refer. So I want to share those steps with you, but before I share those steps with you, I just want you to know that the 2 main leading causes of suicide are actually substance abuse and depression. So step 1 is question. Question the person you think is suicidal. Many people think that you actually can't ask straight out, are you suicidal? Because it's such a big thing to ask, and it's kind of scary asking somebody for the first time. Because when I first asked somebody, I was quite terrified actually, but I did it. But the worst a person can say is no, but you have to ask or you'll never know. Step 2 is persuade. Persuade the person to go get help. We also actually add an extra step in, which is listen. You have to listen to the person who you think may be suicidal, because they actually might feel like you're the only person that they can reach out to, and they're the only person, you're the only person that they just can open up to. And step 3 is refer. We refer them to a counsellor, a teacher, or a hotline number. 116-123 is a Samaritan, and they're an amazing hotline. They offer all-around-the-clock services, and it's amazing. And then we also have a charity website, which is www.liveoutloudcharity.org, and on that we have all our references listed throughout on the website. So I just want to say, if you remember those 3 steps, QPR, you're already preventing somebody from committing suicide, and you're preventing something so devastating. Because people don't understand the effects of suicide, because losing a couple of friends is like, not losing, but having to be, head on his head. Just knowing that people who have committed suicide, or hearing the stories, it is actually kind of upsetting, because we don't know who you're leaving behind, and I think the people left behind are actually suffering the worst. So Live It Out Charity is actually expanding really rapidly. They're coming to Ireland, and hopefully in April or May they're actually holding a fashion show. We teach you, through fashion, because everybody's kind of interested in fashion, and fashion shows are a great way to educate people on QPR, because Sherrie gives speeches on QPR, and I remember the first time I went there, she said QPR, and I was like, oh, I never thought of that, because it's such an easy couple of steps, and they're easy enough to remember. So I just want to sign off now and just say that, if you're ever feeling low, or if you're ever feeling low or lost in the world, you can always come to me, if I'm on a holiday, or, just drop me a text or anything, you can always come to me, and I'm not going to judge. Because I'm a student in school, I know what it's like, and I can relate to you, I can relate to the pressures because of the stress, because, I'm doing my unit cert next year, and I'm in 5th year, and it's a lot of work, especially coming out of TY. So I know the stress and the pressures on every single one of you. So I just want to leave you with this. Let's all save lives together, because it is extremely worth it. Thank you.
Great job, Emma. Isn't she fantastic? Let's give her another round of applause. Hi everyone, I'm Sherrie Gearheart, Miss United Nations 2015, founder of Live Out Loud Charity. I'm actually from Chicago, Illinois, USA. Who's been there? Anybody? Oh, one day though, right? Well, this is my first time to Ireland, so I do hope that you'll make it to the States one day. But I'm actually here to talk to you today about coping mechanisms and how to get through life. So how many of you have been through hardships? Raise your hands. Come on, I know all of you have, right? Absolutely. But what did you do? Listen up. What did you do to overcome those hardships? That's the real question. So as successful as I am today, standing up here as Miss United Nations 2015, I've been able to educate over 80 million people worldwide on the signs of depression and suicide. Is that amazing? 80 million, can you imagine? I've been able to travel the world as a professional model and model in Fashion Week and live my dreams. I've been able to go all over the news and all into different schools and universities and speak to students just like you, and I've been able to save lives through suicide interventions. But was it easy getting to where I am today? So when I ask you how many of you have been through hardships, I've been through them too. So how many of you wake up and celebrate life? Raise your hands. Come on, every day you wake up. Okay. How many? Okay, all right, hands down. How many of you wake up and wish you never had? You heard me. This is called depression, isn't it? This is real. And every day people are waking up wishing that they never had. So as much joy as you feel in your heart, there are people that are feeling sadness and they're feeling the struggles and the weight of the world on their shoulders. And that happened to me. And I was 13 years of age. I woke up and I didn't know what I was going through. I woke up and I was in a really poor family. You know, we grew up very poor. My mom had lost her job. There wasn't any food on the table. I didn't know when my next meal would be. I was in a really bad school, and we'll talk about the importance of education later. And every day I'd wake up and I'd feel sad. And I didn't know why. And 9/11 struck. And when the world was mourning, so was I. And I remember going to school every day and I'd go up to my locker and someone would come up to my locker and say, so-and-so took their life. So-and-so committed suicide. And I was so heartbroken inside because even though I was feeling sad, I never thought about that. Life was so precious and important to me, but I just knew I was sad. And through life and through gaining experience and understanding, I learned that I was going through depression and that I needed help. And I had to get help, and I went through counseling, and thank God I did, because had I given up on life, I wouldn't be here today, right? Right. So let's talk about everything that Live Out Loud Charity does. So this is Live Out Loud Charity, that's our logo. And this is Emma Gavin. We just met with Emma. So Emma has been able to not only model in some of the most major fashion shows in Chicago, because they produce amazing fashion shows, she's also been able to appear all over the TV, all over the news. Well, why? Why is that important being on TV? Well, Emma and I have a purpose, and our purpose is to let people know that when you're going through depression, you're not alone. When you're going through hardships, you're not alone. There's somebody that cares. Emma cares and I care. And that's why we're here with you today, to let you know that no matter what life struggles you face, that you can and you will overcome it. So here are some of the fashion shows that I produced, just a little bit of an idea. And these are some of the girls, I know it's hard to see, some of the girls and men that I mentor. I have, in an average fashion show, over 500 people in the audience, over 150 models of all sizes, heights, ages, and ethnic backgrounds. So it's really about promoting self-love. How many of you would love to see a fashion show come to Ireland like that? Raise your hands. How many? Come on, be honest. So, guess what? I think it would be fun. So we plan to bring a fashion show here to this area in May. So I hope all of you will get involved. And the purpose is to let people know that they're not alone. So this is me up here. I've been on the cover of countless magazines, but not just as a model, but as a humanitarian. So I've been able to be featured all over covers of magazines, the news, radio interviews for the work that I've done as founder of Live Out Loud Charity. I also have a magazine called Tiara Magazine. It's a pageantry fashion publication read in 177 countries. Do you know how old I was when I started that? 18. Do you know when I was 10 years of age, I was told that was not possible? I remember telling my family, I want to start a magazine, and they said, absolutely not. You can't do that, that's too hard. But at 18, I did it. So I'm here to tell you dreams do come true with hard work and dedication. I'm also a Truth Media certified mentor. I mentor teams all across the globe. And the thing that I'm most proud of is the Leadership Academy. Part of Live Out Loud Charity called the Leadership Academy, where I mentor over 75 spokespersons just like Emma, who are ambassadors and spokespersons of the organization, and they go out and they save lives and they educate people on the signs of depression and suicide, just like Emma did with you. So, who knows who 50 Cent is? Yeah. All right. So I know it's hard to see, but that's me up there with 50 Cent. Now, I never thought I would meet him or all the other celebrities that I met, but by being courageous, okay, because it was scary going into modeling. I was told I was too short. I'm only 5'6". I was told I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't good enough. So it was was very scary for me to go out and set on that path and say, you know what, I can do this and I will do this. I will be a beauty queen one day that makes a difference and I will be a model. And here I am, 5 years later as a model, walking in Mercedes-Benz, going all the way to LA Fashion Week and meeting 50 Cent. How cool is that? Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Some of the perks when you're courageous, is you get to realize some of the dreams that you never thought you would. I'm also Miss United Nations 2015. This was one of my dreams, and I'm just sharing my dreams with you because I want you to know that no matter what you go through, your dreams will come true. I won this in Jamaica. This year, I traveled to 4 countries, and I've traveled over to 20 states in my country alone. That's a lot of traveling, and it's amazing. Well, when I was there, I won this title for the charity work that I've done. This pageant is based on the cause and the difference you're making in this world. So I've had my nonprofit organization, Live Out Loud Charity, for 6 years. So that was a big achievement for me. Also, you didn't see it, but in the corner, I just got back from China. 2 days before I came to Ireland, I was in China for the 70th anniversary of the United Nations. So that was a really big moment for me. Now, this is Tiara Magazine, so we celebrate models, men and women and teens of all sizes, heights, ages, and ethnic backgrounds, and we promote the goodness in pageantry. I was just in France last month, and I was interviewing different people in LA Fashion Week on the red carpet, and I met Nigel Barker. Some of you may not know who he is, but have you heard of America's Next Top Model? Okay, so he was one of the original judges on America's Next Top Model, and now he has his own modeling TV show. So I get to do some really cool things because I was courageous and started my own magazine when I was 18. And then this is one of our programs, Miss Humanitarian Model. You can click to the next slide. They go around and make a difference. These are 2 12-year-old girls, 1 year or 2 years younger than you, that decided they wanted to make a difference and that they weren't young, or they weren't too young to make a difference. In 1 month, they collected all of those items. Can you see all those items? That's a lot, right? They collected over 450 bags of pulp and they handed it out to the homeless in my community. 12 years old. Do you think you could do something like that? Yeah, absolutely you could if you put your mind to it. So it always seems impossible until it's done. It always seems impossible. I never knew I would accomplish all these things. But had I not taken that first step, I would have never been able to achieve these things. So when you're studying for your exams and you feel like you're not going to do great, when you're trying to take that test or audition for the part, it's always scary in the beginning. When somebody says no, when you lose, when you fail, you feel like you're never going to make it, right? I know you've been there. I've been there too, but you will make it. It will get better. You have to keep going. You have to believe in yourself, even when it feels like the world doesn't believe in you, because it will become possible. So I just want to say this because I am a religious person. You may not be, but this is my belief. God is bigger than your past, your depression, your pain, your hate, your anger, your doubt, your fear, your shame, your eating disorder, your self-harm, your anxiety, your loneliness, your scars in this world. That always helps me. I don't know if that will help you, but that helps me. So when you start looking at people's hearts instead of their face, life becomes clear. So what does that mean? Anybody want to share what that means? What should you be looking at? You should be looking at someone's heart, right? Isn't that what matters in this life? So how many of you have dreams? Raise your hands. I should see every single hand raised in this room right now. Okay, you can put your hands down. So who wants to know how to make their dreams come true? Come on, who wants to know? Don't be scared, yes? All right, do you want to learn? I'm going to teach you. So these are the steps that I actually took in my life to make my dreams come true. So I believe in these steps because they worked for me, and I'm still realizing and achieving my dreams every day of my life. So these are the 8 steps to making your dreams come true. So this is core character development. Step 1, values. Some of you probably don't know what a value is, and that's okay, most people don't. Values, you have to know what you believe in. What do you believe in? What's important to you? Not what somebody tells you should be important to you. What do you believe in? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Do you believe in being a good friend, a good person? I'll tell you one of my values. One of my values is leading a drug-free life. I stand up here today and I've never done one drug ever in my life. And I'm proud to say that. And you know why I'm proud to say that? I've seen the devastation it has on my friends and family. So when you know your values, no one can make you do something you don't want to do. No one can break you down. No one can shape you. Knowing your values is so important because if you have values, and your values are to be a good person, are you going to hang out with somebody that's bad? If your values are to lead a drug-free life, are you going to hang out with someone that's doing drugs? If your value is to be a good student, are you going to hang out with the groups that are studying? Probably, right?
Yes.
So you really have to decide what it is that you believe in. Oh, okay, I appreciate that. So there's good choices and there's bad choices, right? What kind of choices do you want to make? So, who knows who Drake is?
Me.
All right, see, I do too. Okay, listen up. One of my favorite quotes, and yes, I listen to Drake. One of my favorite quotes is, no matter how dirty your past is, your future is still spotless. I want you to think about that. No matter how bad your past is, no matter the mistakes you've made, the things you shouldn't have said, the stuff you shouldn't have done, your future, it's still spotless, right? Your future is still unwritten. You get to write your future every day of your life. So maybe you made some bad choices. Maybe you got into drugs. Maybe you did some things you shouldn't have done. I don't know, but you know inside your heart, right? You can still write your future right now. It starts now. So can you do that for me?
Yes.
Yes? Awesome. Okay, next slide. So step 2, know who you want to become. So how many of you have heard the phrase, you've got to find yourself? Has anybody ever heard that phrase? You've got to, life's about finding yourself. Do you know? I actually don't believe that. Can I tell you what I believe? I believe life's about creating yourself. So it's about deciding who you want to be. So if you know what you believe in, which are your values, you know what's important to you, then you should start thinking about who do you want to be. Do you want to be a straight A student? Maybe school's really hard for you. Maybe you want to be a B student, and that's okay too, if that's okay with you. Do you want to be a humanitarian? Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to make a difference in this world. Ever since I was a little girl, and I didn't know if that was possible, but I did it. What do you want to be? So, how many of you have heard of Harvard? Come on, I know you have. All right, good, good. Just making sure. So, there was a study done by Harvard. There is a study done by Harvard, and now that's the best, right? One of the best. And out of all the students that graduated, only 1% made their dreams come true and accomplished all of their goals within 10 years. And it was the 1% that actually wrote down what they wanted to be. So, today, I challenge you, when you get home today, to write down your values, what you believe in, and to write down who you want to be. Can you do that for me? Do you want to be a singer? Do you want to be a dancer? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a good person? What do you want to be?
Football.
Football. I heard football, right? Or soccer? Soccer. Ah! Okay, so now that we've thought about our values, and now that we've thought about who we want to be, we have to think about our legacy. What type of life do you want to lead? You have one life to live, right? We each are given one precious life. And when you leave this world, what do you want people to say about you? When you walk out of this door today, when you walk out of this door today, what do you want people to say about you? He's the one that made me cry, or he's the one that lifted me up. She's the one that was always there for me. She's the one that stuck up for me. She was the one that stood by my side. She's the one that helped me with my homework. What do you want people to say about you? You have to think about these things. Because your words have power. The things that you say have power. Your words can break someone down, can't they? Or they can lift someone up. So you've got one life to live. So this is just some of the pictures of things I've done. I went to the Philippines. We're going to talk about that. It's a third world country. We'll talk about why I went there later. And I knew that I wanted to live a big legacy, leave a big legacy, and I didn't know how big it would be, but I just knew I wanted to make a change. So here I am meeting with different politicians and political groups. It's getting the message of Live Out Loud charity, suicide prevention, and depression awareness. And this is part of the legacy that I lead, is going into schools, it's the suicide interventions that we do, it's every politician I meet and every student that I meet. Because I hope that you will be inspired to make a change too. So step 4, so we talked about 3 steps, didn't we? To make your dreams come true, you have to know what you believe in, you have to know who you want to become, and what type of legacy you want to leave behind. Well, step 4 is find a mentor. So can you see Emma up there? Can you spot her next to me? Okay, and down there's Emma with me as well. And I mentor Emma, so I'm very proud to mentor her as well as over 75 spokespersons and ambassadors. When you want to become something in this world, you need to find somebody that's willing to mentor you. So if you want to be a fashion designer, reach out to the local fashion designers and ask them if they'll teach you. A mentor is basically somebody that's accomplished the things you've already accomplished. Or so the things that you want to accomplish is what I meant to say. So a mentor is somebody that you can go to for advice. How many of you go to your parents for advice? Any of you? I know some of you do. You should be proud of that. It's important to go to them because they've experienced life. Your teachers are your mentors. Your football or soccer or ballet coaches are your mentors, yes? So I wanted to be a public speaker. That meant I had to meet other public speakers, yes? So they could teach me how to speak in front of people, so I wouldn't be scared. Because it's kind of scary standing up in front of people, isn't it? So when you are facing the challenges of making your dreams come true, you have to find those adults in your life that are willing to guide you. Okay, education. Step 5 to making your dreams is education. Is that exciting? I don't believe you. Are you excited about education? No. Okay. Okay. We're going to talk about why you should be in just a minute. So, do you see USA over there? And I took a plane all the way across the ocean to those little islands. Can you see that? I'm going to talk about why I did this in just a minute. I went to the Philippines, a third world country, that there are, when I landed, thousands upon thousands of homeless people, children, babies, adults sleeping on the ground. And those children and adults do not know how to read or write, and they will never have the opportunity to learn how to write their name. They are too poor to go to school. Can you believe that? But every day you get to wake up and come to school. You get to be part of Wellness Week. You get to be anything that you want to be. Isn't that amazing? But they don't. In the USA, I would say we're such a blessed country, but so is Ireland. I've seen the schools. Your school is amazing. So you have to put the effort into your education because there are children out there that will never have that opportunity. Do you think that's fair? Education is so important. And before I go into the next slide, I just want to say, education isn't just the education you gain in school. It's the workshops that you go to afterwards. It's the mentors that you talk to. It's the extra books that you read on your own to learn. Education doesn't end in just your classroom. It's all the work that you put into it. So step 6 to making your dreams come true, find a cause you believe in. So what do you believe in? I would like 3 people to tell me what they believe in. Do you believe in wanting to help the puppies? Helping the homeless? I know it's funny, but a lot of people do. They're important, right? What do you believe in? What is a cause that you believe in? Can I have someone raise their hand and let me know what they believe in? I'm going to start with Emma. Emma, what do you believe in?
Like probably helping people like through real hardships and being that person that they can really talk to.
Emma also believes in anti-bullying because she went through being bullied and she shared her story. What do you believe in? Somebody raise their hand. Somebody courageous. Who's courageous? Anybody? Okay, I see someone back there. Okay, all right, good job. Okay, so you need to, I know you're scared, but this is part of life, is learning to be courageous and speak up, even when nobody else in the room is willing to. Yes? Do you agree with that? Yes. But yet you're not speaking up. Yes? What do you believe in? What's a cause that you want to change? You want to help the puppies? Yes? Thank you for sharing that. So the thing that I believe in was helping children with cancer. Aside from helping those that are going through depression, aside from mentoring others, I believe in helping children with cancer. So that's fine. That little girl up there, I met her, and how old do you think she is? Okay, all right. You think she's 6, 7, 9, 4, 11? She is, okay, you think she's 12? In that picture, she's 15 years of age. So for 2 years in the school I see, sleeping on the bare ground, that never had the opportunity to go to school, she didn't have the money to go to a doctor. So back at home, I raised the money to help prolong her life and was able to give her, pay attention please, I was able to give her the medication and the food that she needed to live longer. And this was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. So that's us meeting for the first time, hugging up there, and that's her and I just going through a little tour in the Philippines. I had some life-changing moments. I helped children that had cancer. I was able to go into different hospitals. And the one thing that really struck me was how blessed that my country is and how blessed your country is. Because when I went into the hospitals, there were children suffering with diseases that we've actually eradicated here in Ireland and back in the USA. But they were too poor to have the medications or the vaccines. Is that something maybe you want to make a difference with? So how can you do that? You think education will help you? Yes. Think, Greg, yes? I heard someone say no. It absolutely will help you. Some of the other life-changing moments I had were in the hospital, like I told you. But can I tell you what that was like when I walked through? So this was a low-income hospital. These were people volunteering and donating their time. That was a cause they believed in helping the poor. And when I walked in, it was very dark and dingy. I could barely breathe. And it was like a horror movie. The lights were flickering on and off. And this was the hospital. And they were in rusted out cribs. The cribs that they were laying in were rusty. And they didn't have the money to go to the doctor. And this was the only hospital that they had in town. Can you believe that? It's scary, right? But through the help and the goodness of other people, these lives are being saved. And that's why we help raise money. And that's why I go to the Philippines every 2 years to make a difference. So here I am speaking to over 1,000 students going to school. And these are different speeches that I gave. In the bottom right-hand corner, I was speaking to over 1,000 people that are blind. And up there, speaking to 1,000 students that are too poor to go to school, but this charity gathers up all the students so they can actually learn how to read and write. So, no matter what you face in life, there is one thing I want you to remember that will help get you through, and it's a smile. When I was in the Philippines and I was walking through the poorest communities and I was helping children with cancer and I was teaching people how to prevent suicide, there was one thing that people always had, and that was a smile. Really. A smile can brighten up somebody's day and it can remind you that life is precious. You are important. The world needs you. One day you could be the future leaders of this country. You could be doctors, you could be singers, you can be actors, you can be anything that you want to set your mind to, but it has to start with the right attitude. It has to start with a smile. Because life's going to get difficult. Life's going to be unfair, but you know what? You can make your dreams come true. You can do everything that you ever wanted to do, and you can achieve it with the right attitude. So, let's talk about affirmations. How many of you have heard of an affirmation? Well, that's honest. Most people have never heard of what an affirmation is. So in order to make your dreams come true, in order to become the person you want to be, you have to start thinking about how do you talk to yourself. So earlier we spoke about how you speak to others. Well, what are the things you're telling yourself? Are you saying I'm too stupid? I'm too fat? I'm ugly? I'm not good enough? Do you hear people say these things to themselves ever? Oh my God, I'm so stupid, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah? So you have to retrain your mind on how to speak to yourself. So when you are trying to become the person you want to be, you have to tell yourself, I'm capable, I'm smart, I'm confident, I can do this. So you have to retrain your mind. Every time you think of something negative or you say something negative to yourself, you need to replace it with something positive. So we all know that athletes train their bodies, right? They run every day, they're working out, right? We have to train our mind. We have to train our mind to face life's hurdles. You have to remember and you have to tell yourself that you can get through this. Now, when you have those thoughts in your head, those negative thoughts, and you're replacing them with positive ones, what if somebody said something bad to you? What if someone tells you you're stupid? Whose choice is it to believe it? Your choice. You have the power to accept what is true and what isn't, yes? So if someone tells you you're not good enough, whose choice is it to believe it? Yours. So it starts with the own thoughts that you believe. Do you value yourself? Do you think you're important? Do you think you're capable? Yes. You have to think and believe these things, and it starts with positive affirmations. Okay, fear. How many of you have fear? Raise your hands. Fear. You're scared you're going to fail. Okay, go ahead and put your hands down. You're scared you'll never make it. So what is fear? What is fear? Can we talk about that? It's false experiences appearing real. So it's these stories we create in our mind and we think they're real. We envision we're going to fail, we're going to fall, we're going to try to audition and it's never going to work, right? How many of you have had that? So you have to replace your fear with positive affirmations, which is positive thoughts. So every time you picture that thought in your head that you're never going to make it, that you're going to fail, that you're just going to just never get up from this and never succeed, you have to remind yourself, okay, you know what? I'm in control. I decide my future and I can and I will do this. Does that sound good? Can you do that for me? Promise? Awesome. Okay. So we're going to end with one last thing. And this is one of my favorite things to do, but I don't have the opportunity to do this with you today because we're in a big group. But this is the mirror exercise. So what I want you to do, this is an amazing tool. I want you to look in the mirror when you get home today, and I want you to say, I am confident, I believe in myself, and I can do this. If you look at yourself in the mirror, and you start telling yourself who you want to be, within 30 days, you'll actually become that person. That's how powerful your thoughts are. This mirror exercise, I was told about this mirror exercise when I was 17. I was a junior in high school. And I know you guys go by different years here in Ireland, but so I was about, second to last year of high school. And someone told me about this mirror exercise, and it changed my life. And even now, when I need to pick me up, because it does get hard sometimes, I look in the mirror and I say, you know what, I can do this. I am beautiful. I am confident. So I want you to remember this is an amazing tool for you. For guys too. Yes. For you guys too. I want you to look in the mirror, girls and guys, and I want you to remember how powerful you are. You've gotten this far. You've overcome whatever you faced in life, and you can do anything if you just remind yourself how important you are. So, if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you would not fail, how big would you dream? If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you would not fail, how big would you dream? Really big, right? So what is it that stops us from dreaming big? Fear. Fear, right? Did you know it takes just as much energy to dream big as it does to dream small? It takes just as much energy to dream big as it does to dream small. So why not dream big? I was told I couldn't start a magazine when I was 10. I did it when I was 18. I was told I couldn't model. I was too short. I wasn't skinny enough or pretty enough. And I've walked in the biggest shows in the USA, and now I've been invited internationally. I was told a lot of things, but I kept dreaming. I kept believing. And when you leave here today, I want all of you to keep dreaming and believing.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Okay, everybody, I want to say thank you so much to Sherrie and to Emma for what was a very thought-provoking, very interesting, very well delivered presentation. Especially to Emma, because I suppose it's more difficult as a student delivering a message to your fellow students. But to say Emma approached us maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now, Emma, the opportunity would, as part of our meeting, would be able to facilitate a presentation to Sherrie, and so we would. So we worked on that and say thank you to Emma for, I suppose, a positive outlook and her intervention for your behalf, and she thought it would be best delivered to students in first, second, third year. And we often chose second year because I'm going to do that in us. You get special treatment as well. Is that okay? Alright, so maybe for Emma especially, I've got a bus for Emma. What we're about in the primary school new college. So we've got a combined total of over 260 students. Okay, Pichillet South is one of the largest groups of students in the country. The largest is actually our first years, which are 2 of them, and the 2 largest groups of students in any year in any school in the country. So that's a very special thing. We did Sherrie knew that it would be a very particularly large group. I suppose you walk in the main door of school and you look at our banner in the main hall. And the words are there: tolerance and partnership, cooperation and shared respect. Those words aren't just there just to brighten up the hall. They have to be real, they have to be lived, they have to be part of your life. So everything we do in the school is for you as students. Every decision we make is for your betterment, your good, your improvement, okay, and your development. What we would sincerely hope is that as a school community of parents, of students, of staff, working together with a common goal, that each and every one of you are entitled to an education. And you know, around the world we might take that for granted, but we should never take that for granted. Only 40% of the world's population get the chance to go to second-level education. And that's a minority. That's less than 50%. So only 4 out of 10 children in the world are in your position, have access, and Sherrie said, education. She has the experience of the Philippines and all other parts of the world as mission-led nations as well. So she kind of has 7 continents in that regard, and so you have that bit of experience too. So what we have here in Maynooth is something special. Okay? We have a school built on a good foundation of tolerance, of diversity. We see that in our student body here today. Our partnership between all of us. Okay? Diversity. And then we have our actual respect for each other. And all that we would want, every one of you would get the opportunity to be your best, to give of your best, and do your best, each and every day. And be given the opportunity to maximize your potential. And Sherrie talked about potential. Why dream small when you can dream big? Why accept second best when you can be first? Okay? Alright, you can see over the course of our week, and not only this week, but all, of course, of all the 3-4 weeks a year over your time in school, delivering a positive message of mental health. Because unfortunately, 80% of your thought process, at yourself, your questions of, am I good enough? I won't get the good mark. But if you challenge yourself and you really believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. I say this in the certs, I'm going to say it to you now. Each and every one of you is unique and special human being. Each and every one of you has a unique set of skills, of abilities, of traits, okay, and characteristics that no one else has. Okay, and each one of you can make a difference. And that was something that Sherrie said too, about making a difference. Now, be it getting involved in charity work, helping your fellow human being, and that's what's important here in this school as well. And each and every one of you should look out for each other. That mindful life. So this week is about well-being. It's about positive mental health. Turning those negative thoughts, fears around. You channeling that energy positively into making good decisions for yourself. Okay? A caring attitude towards each other. So the anti-bullying week. Not just this week. but not accepting students being mean to each other. And I don't mean, half of you got to talk and half what you didn't do. And Pat said, it's not the throwaway comment that's the problem. It's the constant, ongoing comments, looks, exclusions, which isn't overt physical bullying that you might think it is. It's that, and that can't happen. You can never accept that as being normal behaviour because it's wrong, isn't it? Because every child, every person is entitled to feel secure and safe and cared for in this school. We can't do it alone. As you said in the start room, there are 103 teachers, but there are 1,400 students in the school. So the balance of power and the balance of actual where they go. The balance is you guys. You can make the difference. We've only got 103 pairs of eyes. You've 1,400 pairs of eyes and mouths and listening. I know you said listen, Sherrie. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we talk. Shouldn't we? Do we always do that? No, we don't. So listening, I hear what you say, but I really hear what you say. Everybody's entitled to listen to it. And all you can do as a person is acknowledging the person's envy. I remember, I think it was Tim McVerry was here last year talking to Human Services. He talked about homelessness, and he talked about despair, and about a lack of hope among people who become homeless. And he said, when they sit on the bridge in O'Connell Street, which is the best street to sit on because that's the most visited thoroughfare and most of the money is, and that's where you find most on that bridge. People there don't see much money. If you acknowledge them and say, hello, how are you? There's a cup of tea for you. There's a Mars car or something. That means more to them than you throwing something. Because you acknowledge that they exist. What they hate is someone throwing money at shirts. I'm better than you. None of us is better than anybody else. Okay? But each of us is special. Do you understand the difference in that? Yeah. Okay. You are you. I am me. But together, as a team, together, everyone achieves more. And I think with the fear, we all fear. We all get anxious. We all worry. We worry about home. We worry about school. We worry about our friends. We worry, are we popular? Am I good at football? Will I make it to their team? Will I make it to their team? Or whatever. If you want it badly enough, you will succeed. Because you will put the effort in. You will put that time into it. We will help you, we will support you, we will guide you. Okay, but we work together on that. Is that okay? So it's very important. We can't do it for you. You've got to mind each other. And you're probably doing that today now as a secondary group, but that's what this week's all about. Minding each other, being positive, being in tune with your mind, your mental health, your physical health. All of those things work together, don't they? So that message has been hammered home all week. But we want you to bring it forward into next week. Okay, and into your life. And you don't have to change that much. You just need to be more aware. That's all. As I said, listen and watch and be mindful of what you say and what you do. Okay? You got that? That's it, I think. Finish up there. Now, before we finish, I know Mr. Ryan wants to do a little work with you in relation to evaluation today. The group that's in second year that didn't get to talk on Palin Monday, you have your talk on Friday. Is that okay? So I think